As I go along with my topic, these are the learning objectives. First is to know the nature of performance management. Second, to know the components of effective performance management. The third one, differentiate performance management and performance appraisals. Fourth, discuss the performance appraisal and process. The fifth one, how do we conduct performance appraisals? What are the three primary options to evaluate? And the last, explain the performance appraisal measurement, methods, and forms with its common problems and how to avoid it. And for our next slide, what is the nature of performance management? First definition, performance management is to provide information to employees about their performance. Meaning to say that employee performance is critical to the overall success of the company. So by informing them with regards to their performance, it helps to determine their strengths, weaknesses in the organization. Although performance evaluations are never fun, they help business leaders determine performance levels for each employee. It is to clarify organizational performance expectations. Performance expectations are about how to go beyond the job description. You are going to think about the expected job outcomes that will of course benefit the whole organization. Next is to identify the development steps that are needed to enhance employee performance. These development steps that I am trying to say is, for example, you have to set goals. Second, you offer opportunities for individual growth. Or maybe the third one is to hold frequent meetings in your offices and also to review the processes. Okay, the fourth one is about the document performance for personal actions. Personal actions are those documentations about an employee's performance that can make your ability to discipline, terminate, or fairly promote, reward, and recognize employees. And also, documenting performance provides a basis for pay increases and promotions. Okay, the last one is performance management is to provide rewards for achieving performance objectives. Example for rewards are bonuses or it could be incentives. Let's now proceed to the components of effective performance management. We have here the performance-focused organizational culture. Business or organizational culture is about attracting, engaging, and retaining the right people. The advantage on this is that there will be a personal transformation of leaders and employees. Next is identifying and measuring employee performance. In identifying and measuring employee performance, this usually involves rating the employee. Next is about the opinions and assessment from circle of people in the company based from the results and using a checklist with a simple yes or no identification. The third is the legal and effective performance appraisal processes. An employee performance appraisal is a process. Often it is about combining both written and oral elements, whereby management evaluates and provides feedback on employee job performance, including steps to improve. We also have manager and employee training. The purpose of training is to improve employee performance, updating employee skills, preparing them for promotion, retaining, and motivating employees. And the last one is the appraisal feedback. This is about how you are going to provide feedback to employees to show that improvements are needed and why they need to improve. Now, we will going to differentiate performance management and performance appraisal. Let us define first the performance management. Performance management is the process of identifying, measuring, managing, and developing the performance of the human resource in an organization. In other words, it is about goal orientation which is guiding the employees. While performance appraisal, it is an ongoing process of evaluating how well employees perform their jobs and communicate that information to the employees. Meaning to say, it allows managers to help employees with career development. That is why performance management is very important to the organization for them to align their employees, resources, and of course to meet their objectives. And also it helps to boost the employee engagement and productivity. It is a continuous and a sustained process. The performance appraisal is how to gain feedback, review, and estimate if the performance is effective. It also helps to provide better pay and incentives to determine the gap between the actual and desired performance. While performance feedback is the ongoing process between employee and manager where information is exchanged concerning the performance expected and the performance exhibited. Constructive feedback can praise good performance or correct poor performance and should always be tied with the performance. And last is we have the performance rewards and development. Here you are going to give reward or incentives for those employees who are doing well with their jobs. And we go now to the performance appraisal and process. Step 1 is job analysis. Job analysis is about to determine the particular job, duties, and responsibilities, and so with its qualification. This is about what needs to be accomplished to implement strategy and how to achieve it. Under the job analysis is the organizational mission and objectives. In an organization, there should be mission and objectives. Just like in Bukidnon State University, we are abided with our mission and vision, our quality policy, and core values. Step 2 is about develop standards and measurement methods, communicate. This refers to the effectivity, efficiency, productivity, quality, and innovation abiding some techniques or methods. These should be accurately measured to know where they can improve. Okay, next is step 3, informal PA or performance appraisal, coaching and discipline. Let us first define informal appraisals. Informal appraisal is a day-to-day routine appraisal when managers meet their subordinate almost daily. In this process, they use the following methods. First is observe, second, communicate, third, check work, and fourth, give immediate feedback. And by that, informal performance appraisal means it is a continual process of feedback to employees. It is information about how well employees are doing their work for the organization. Informal appraisal can be conducted on a day-to-day basis. And now we are down to our last step, which is step 4, prepare for and conduct the formal PA or performance appraisal. Formal appraisal is defined as it is a formal systematic appraisal, usually occurs semi-annually or annually. Formal appraisal has 4 major purposes, and these are the following. Number 1, to let employees know formally how their current performance is being rated. Second, to identify employees who deserve merit raises. Third, to locate employees who need additional training. And last, to identify candidates for promotion. So by discussing to you all these 4 steps, it should be well coordinated and will serve as a guide to the employees towards the achievement of mission and objectives of the organization. And let's now proceed to the next part of our discussion, which is how do we conduct performance appraisals? We conduct performance appraisal through communication, decision-making, and motivation. Communication is about informing. During appraisal meeting is where a manager and employee meet together to discuss employee performance in order to carry out their responsibilities. Through also communication between a boss and the employee, they will get to know the problems such as poor equipment, conflict within work groups, lack of training, and would create an opportunity to correct that problem. Next is we have the decision making. Decision making is important for the managers to correctly analyze or try to determine the real situation. It is one of the components of the organizational success because without taking the right decision at the right time, nothing can be performed as what is planned. And also, they have to see to it that their decisions are valid and reliable. The next one is motivation. It stimulates the desire and energy of the employees to continually be interested and be committed to do their job or duties and make an effort to attain goal. So for example, a machine operator having trouble in keeping their equipment working. So the manager should make a decision to train and develop new skills in order to improve his performance. And aside from these 3 things, we also have here the 2 parts of effective PA or performance appraisal. In the 2 parts of effective performance appraisal is evaluating and motivating. Evaluating or evaluation is the process of judging or calculating the quality, importance, or amount of performance. While on the other hand, motivating or motivation is on how you are going to encourage your team to strive hard in achieving their goals in the organization. And the next thing is we have here the 3 primary options to evaluate. And the first primary option is trait. And this includes attitude, initiative, and creativity. Trait is defined as a characteristics that an individual possesses. It also includes work ethics and leadership ability. And the second primary option is behavioral. That includes verbal persuasion, timeliness of response, and decision making. Behavior or behavioral assessment is a method used in the field of psychology to observe, describe, explain, predict, and sometimes correct behavior. The third primary options to evaluate is results. That includes goals achieved, customer satisfaction, and cost reduction, wherein result is an important step in documenting findings. Among these 3 options, which option is the best? What do you think? The answer is not that easy, though in behavioral and results, they are more defensible due to the fact that they are more reliable and valid than in trait. It is about base evaluation, but still, it also varies in a particular situation. Okay, so those are the 3 primary options to evaluate. And we go now to the performance appraisal measurement methods and forms. And we have here what you call evaluative decisions. What does it imply? Evaluative decisions is about evaluating the readiness of the employees for taking up higher responsibilities. And aside from that, we also have development decisions. Development decisions is about defining the training requirements of the employees based on the results of the reviews and diagnosis of the individual. And what you see below are the performance appraisal measurement methods and forms. First is the ranking method, the graphic rating scale form, bars form, the narrative method or form, MBO method, the critical incidents method. Okay, when you try to Google or search in different websites about these methods and forms definition, there are a lot, but I will just give you a concise and short definition about what is really these methods and forms is all about. First is we have the ranking method. This is used to evaluate employee performance from best to worst. So say for example, employee is evaluated by different supervisors with ranks, and then these ranks are grouped into which employee is rated the best or etc. The second one is the graphic rating scale form. It is a checklist form on which a manager rates such as excellent, good, average, fair, and poor. And some other rating scale, the performance dimensions are based on knowledge, communication, judgment, managerial skill, quality performance, and so on and so forth. The third one is the behaviorally anchored rating scales or bars form, which are designated to bring the benefits of both qualitative and quantitative data to the employee appraisal process. Bars compare an individual's performance against specific examples of behavior that are anchored to numerical ratings. It is also an analysis of specific behavior and provides a description of each assessment. So say for example, the attendance, wherein you're going to see the number of days missed or more. The fourth one is the narrative method or form. A narrative, also called an essay, is simply a written analysis of an employee's performance. It's one of the oldest appraisal methods, in which the manager is required to write a statement about the employee's performance. The fifth method is the management by objectives, or commonly referred as MBO. It is a performance appraisal method that determines how closely aligned an employee's goals are to organizational goals. Therefore, managers and the directors or executives, they report to often work together to establish MBO goals for this type of appraisal method, in which manager and employees jointly set objectives, periodically evaluate, and reward the employees according to the result. And finally, the last method is the critical incident method. It is a performance appraisal involved of identifying and describing specific events where the employee did something really well or something that needs improvement. It is a technique based on the description of the event and does not rely on the assignment of ratings or rankings, although it is occasionally coupled with a ratings type system. All these measurements are designed to help managers to come up a complete and effective performance appraisal. And aside from those mentioned measurements, we also have the 360-degree evaluations. 360-degree evaluation, it analyzes individuals' performance from all sides. It also gives us the most accurate analysis of the individual and their performance within the company. This evaluation considered as the best evaluation in an organization. And behind these evaluations, the question is, who should assess performance? Number 1 is the supervisor. The supervisor considers the most common evaluator because employees are under their control who usually check their task. Second is peers, which refers to your co-workers. The third one is subordinates. Some company usually evaluates their supervisors. The fourth one is self. Of course, you know yourself better than the others, so you can tell whether you perform well or not. And fifth is customers. If your jobs are concerning to the needs of the customers, then they can also evaluate your performance, how they are satisfied with the kind of services you provided. In relating to this topic on how we are evaluated as an employee of our institution in Bukidnon State University, where I am connected, we have what we call the IPCR, or the Individual Performance Commitment and Review Form. And through that form, we are going to fill out indicating our name, the rating period, position, and the signatories for reviewed by and approved by. This rating is also discussed by our supervisor. And since we are done identifying how to conduct performance appraisal, what are the measurement methods and forms, let us continue to discuss what are the problems encountered in performance appraisal as the last topic in this report. So these are the common problems: bias, stereotyping, similarity error, contrast error, and attribution error. Bias is about if you have something against an employee, then it probably affects the evaluation. The person might think that it's time for him or her to make a revenge against you, attacking you through the evaluation, which is not fair. So being biased should be avoided. Sometimes it's easy to say but difficult to do, especially if you're not in good terms with that person. Second is the stereotyping. It's about making an assumption about an individual characteristics based on their affinity group. Affinity groups such as based on the person's political belief, hobby clubs, religion, and so on. The third is the similarity error. Rater gives better evaluation to subordinates whom they consider more similar to themselves, and poor evaluations to subordinates whom they consider different from themselves. The fourth one is the contrast error. Compare and contrast performance between two people. In a certain organization, it cannot be avoided that there will be a comparison. An employee shows better performance than the other. The fifth one is the attribution error. Rater makes an assumption about the employee's action or behavior. If an employee has a negative attitude, then it will probably affect the individual performance. As they say, sometimes first impression lasts. And how can we avoid these common problems? First is to develop accurate performance measures. If methods and forms are not accurate, then the entire process will have problems. This is why other companies hire some HR specialists to ensure the proper performance measures. The second one is to use multiple criteria. As I have shown you from my previous slides, it is good to consider in evaluating in terms of behavior and results so that you will not limit the process in just one criteria. And the last one is to train your evaluators. Conduct some training so that it will create an awareness to the evaluators. And that is all about the common problems of performance appraisal and how to avoid it. I hope everything is clear to you and you have learned something from this topic. And here are my references as discussed to you. And if in case you wanted to ask some slides in this report, in this topic, so feel free to slide me a message through the link provided in the description box below. And also, don't forget to like this video and share to your family, friends, and relatives. Don't forget to subscribe in this YouTube channel and hit also the notification bell for more videos and updates. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!